What if I told you that last night, you lived an entire adventure complete with characters, emotions, and a storyline, and this morning you deleted it? Not on purpose, but automatically, as if your brain had a cleanup crew working while you brushed your teeth. Every single night, you dream, even if you swear you don't, even if you wake up convinced that your mind was completely blank for 8 hours, the truth is far stranger. Your brain creates dreams for about 2 hours every single night. That's roughly 6 years of your life spent in dream world. And yet, most of these experiences vanish within minutes of waking. Why would your brain devote so much energy to creating something, only to throw it away? The answer reveals something fascinating about how your memory actually works, and why forgetting might be the most important thing your brain does all night. Let's start with what happens when you sleep. You've probably heard of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs. But here's what most people don't know. You cycle through different sleep stages throughout the night, each full cycle taking about 90 minutes. During the early part of the night, your REM periods are short, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But as morning approaches, these periods stretch longer. By the time you're waking up naturally, you might have been dreaming for 45 minutes straight. This is why you're more likely to remember dreams when you wake up without an alarm. Your brain was in the middle of producing a dream, and you interrupted it while it was still running. But even this doesn't guarantee you'll remember anything. Studies show that about 95% of dreams are forgotten within minutes of waking. Imagine if your phone automatically deleted 95% of your photos. You'd be furious. But your brain does this willingly, every single morning. So what determines whether a dream survives this purge? When you're awake, your brain constantly encodes memories. You meet someone new, and your hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep inside your brain, gets to work creating a record. This encoding process requires certain brain chemicals, particularly one called norepinephrine. Think of it as the ink used to write memory's catalog cards. Without it, nothing gets written down. Now, here's where things get interesting. When you enter REM sleep, your brain almost completely shuts down production of norepinephrine. The brain is still creating vivid dreams with full sensory detail, but it's no longer recording them to long-term storage. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Your brain is processing emotions, consolidating memories from the previous day, and running simulations to help you navigate future challenges. But it doesn't need to remember the simulations themselves, just the lessons they teach. Think of it like a flight simulator. A pilot practices emergency procedures, and those skills transfer to real flying. But nobody needs to remember every detail of what happened in the simulation. But if this system works so well, why do we remember any dreams at all? About 5 to 10% do make it into long-term memory. The answer lies in how we wake up. When you wake up gradually, your brain ramps up norepinephrine production. The librarian picks up the pen and starts writing again. But there's a brief window, maybe just a minute or two, where the dream is still fresh in short-term memory. If you wake up thinking about the dream, you can transfer it to long-term storage. But if you immediately start thinking about your to-do list, or your alarm goes off and you jump out of bed, that window slams shut. This explains why emotional dreams are more memorable. If you have a nightmare that wakes you up in a cold sweat, your heart pounding, you're almost certain to remember it. The emotional intensity acts like a spotlight. Your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes highly active during frightening or exciting dreams, and emotional experiences are more likely to be encoded even when norepinephrine levels are low. There's also a fascinating theory that we forget dreams to protect our sense of reality. Your brain has to maintain a clear distinction between what really happened and what you imagined. You need to know that you actually paid your electric bill, not just dreamed about it. You need to remember that you had a real conversation with your boss, not a dream conversation. If you remembered every dream with perfect clarity, your memory would become cluttered with false experiences. You might genuinely believe you had conversations that never occurred. Your entire concept of your personal history, would become unreliable. So the brain developed a system. Most dreams get deleted automatically, and only the most significant ones survive. Age also plays a role in dream recall. Children report far more dreams than adults. Studies show that children between 5 and 12 recall dreams on about 50 to 70% of mornings. By adulthood, this drops to around 30%. Some researchers believe children have less developed filtering systems. Their brains haven't yet perfected the art of forgetting. Interestingly, there's a personality component too. People who describe themselves as creative and prone to daydreaming tend to remember more dreams. People who are more logical and focused on concrete tasks tend to remember fewer. The ability to access dream content isn't just about how your brain works during sleep, it's also about how you relate to your inner mental life when you're awake. Now here's something that might change how you think about this entire topic. Some people remember almost every dream they ever have. It's a rare condition called hyperphantasic dream recall, and it's both a gift and a curse. These individuals report that their dream memories feel just as real as their waking memories, sometimes more so. But many of them also experience confusion about what actually happened versus what they dreamed. The boundary between dream and reality becomes blurred. They sometimes have relationships with dream characters that feel more significant than real relationships. They experience grief when dream characters die, grief that feels completely real even though the person never existed. This condition reminds us why forgetting dreams might actually be a feature, not a bug. Your brain is protecting you from the confusion of having too much dream content cluttering your memory. On the other end of the spectrum, there are people who genuinely don't dream at all, or whose brains don't produce the conscious experience of dreaming. This is often caused by damage to specific brain regions. These individuals still go through REM sleep. You can see the rapid eye movements on brain scans, but they report no subjective experience. For them, sleep is simply a gap in consciousness. They close their eyes and then it's morning. No dreams, no adventures, no nightmares, just nothing. Most of us fall somewhere in the middle. We dream, we sometimes remember, and we mostly forget. But here's the thing, you can train yourself to remember more dreams if you want to. The technique is remarkably simple. Keep a dream journal by your bed. The moment you wake up, before you move, before you check your phone, write down whatever you remember, even if it's just a fragment. The act of writing tells your brain that dreams are worth remembering. Over time, usually within a few weeks, dream recall improves dramatically. But before you try this, consider whether you actually want to remember more. Dreams can contain disturbing content. Nightmares are a natural part of dreaming, and increasing recall means you'll remember the bad along with the good. About 5% of adults have frequent nightmares, and for people with PTSD or anxiety disorders, this number is much higher. There's also a philosophical question worth considering. If we forget 95% of our dreams, are we missing something important? Carl Jung believed dreams contain messages from our unconscious mind that they're trying to tell us something about ourselves. From this perspective, forgetting dreams means ignoring important psychological information. But modern neuroscience offers a different view. Dreams might not mean anything at all. They might just be random neural firing, the brain's way of processing information without any deeper message. In this view, forgetting them is exactly right. You're clearing out temporary files so your brain can run more efficiently. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Some dreams seem meaningful, they reflect our concerns, our fears, our hopes, but other dreams are just noise. Your brain doesn't distinguish between these two types, it forgets both equally. So what's the takeaway? First, if you don't remember your dreams, you're completely normal. Your brain is working exactly as it should. Second, the dreams you do remember are special, they survived the deletion process for a reason. Third, you have more control over dream recall than you might think. If you want to remember more, you can train your brain, and if you want to remember less, That happens automatically. The next time you wake up with a fading dream fragment in your mind, appreciate what's happening. Your brain just created an entire world complete with sights, sounds, emotions, and narrative, and then decided you didn't need to keep it. That disappearing dream isn't a failure of memory. It's your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do, processing yesterday's experiences, preparing you for tomorrow, and quietly deleting the evidence before you even knew it was there. And maybe that's for the best. You have enough to remember without carrying 6 years' worth of nighttime adventures along with you. Some experiences are meant to be lived and then let go, even the ones that only existed inside your own mind.